So today's Thanksgiving. I hope it's something for you. If not, I've been there. I definitely spent some Thanksgivings living in my van. I just kind of hung out on my own. So if you're dealing with one of those kind of Thanksgivings and that really gets to you, I'm rooting for you. Better Thanksgivings most likely to come. I know that I had some super not great ones. And this year I have options of where I'm going to go to Thanksgiving. Probably not going to go anywhere. Probably going to hang out here for today. A couple things I wanted to talk about. First, really quick health update. I was doing really well with not being super sick, and I felt like I was finding a new normal. Like, okay, so like I'll just be like a little sick a couple times a day, and then it'll fade out. But then 2 days ago, I started feeling pretty sick, and then last night, my temperature got really low. It got to like 95.3, which is kind of hypothermia-esque. Like mild hypothermia kind of starts at below 95, and mine was just above that. So it's like semi-hypothermia. Very uncomfortable. You feel sick. What's weird about hypothermia, or at least with my experience of what I just felt, even though like my body was really cold, and when Bridget would touch me, she was like, "You're cold to the touch." I felt super hot. Like I was like sweating, and I wanted to take the blanket off me, and I wanted to turn the fan on, but I knew that was probably not the best move. So I just was very, very uncomfortable. And then waking up this morning, my temperature like started to go back to normal. I was like, oh, cool. But then it went right past normal, and now I'm around like 100, which is not my favorite. But hopefully that has to do with me getting off antibiotics, and hopefully it's just my body trying to readjust. Possibly like Lyme's disease still in me. So who knows? I mean, I'm probably going to have it forever, but that's like a thing that can happen when you get off antibiotics. Anyways, dealing with that right now, so I might not go anywhere just based on that. But also, I don't know, it's just being, I don't know, just feeling kind of bleh lately. Just spending Thanksgiving alone sounds therapeutic to say the least. So if you're spending a Thanksgiving alone, hey, look at us. Now, what I wanted to talk about was, it actually had to do with posting this video, sort of meta. I was thinking like, oh yeah, what am I going to post on Thanksgiving? And usually like 2 years ago, I was I was very good at understanding the algorithm. I was pretty good at getting consistent, decent views. And I would have to explain it to you the way that it works and the way that impressions work with YouTube. But basically I would have it like lined up to where like I would have decent holidays, which is like usually not the easiest thing to get views on, and I would like strategically plan it. But I decided after I took about a month break, which was 2 years ago, that I was only going to post what felt normal. Like I was just going to post my days and not necessarily plan anything unless it was something that was naturally planned. So in other words, I wouldn't plan things for YouTube videos. I would just plan things that I wanted to do, and then perhaps YouTube videos would come out of them. So for example, I might be like, yeah, I want to go to the event, the Tick Bronson Independent event, but I'm not doing that for the YouTube video. I'm like, I want to go do that, and then I'll make a video there. And the trade-off was sort of, I end up getting less views overall, but it's very, very consistent, and I feel like it's kind of niche down to the people who just enjoy what I do. Because I don't feel like most people are necessarily fans of me for my channel. They're more fans of the things that I get to experience. So whether it's, you know, me and my friends skating at the skate park, or me covering events, or me filming my friends, I think it's cool to tag along and see kind of the very, very fortunate life that I get to live. And so for this video, I was just like, oh, well, like maybe I'll just talk a little bit about my gratitude with that, because I never really address the audience. I never am like, hey guys, blah, 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 blah. I've never actually directly said thank you blatantly. I mean, obviously, like I've said things like, oh, I appreciate everything, that blah, blah, blah. But I've never been like, hey, I'm living a better life than I could have written a script for myself because I get to do this for a living, which is because you watch what I do. And I know that there's people, in fact, who don't even like me, who will watch my channel and will like leave comments like, I wish Dan would just shut up, or like, I wish Dan would be less in his videos and focus more on that. And like that alone shows me that I have something like kind of rad. Like at the very least, even if I'm annoying, I think I'm kind of undeniably getting to live this extremely fortunate life that, when looking at my past and where it seemed like my life was going to go, was going to be nowhere near this. So, I mean, let's say the second best case scenario that I could imagine is like I didn't make it in skating. Like back when I came out to California years ago and I was writing for Stereo and I tried to do something, and then I skated with like people like Elijah Burrell, and seeing these dudes skate in real life and be like, oh yeah, I can't keep up with that. Like, let's say that didn't happen. Let's say I was like, oh, I can't keep up with this, and I got really motivated, and I went and had like a skateboarding career. Like, the way that I can tell that it's been a very short career, and like, you also have to play this part where you kind of have to wake up in the morning and be like, okay, I gotta skate, which is different than like I want to skate. There's some times where you have to force yourself to do stuff that you're scared of. And I somehow found this world through, just pure luck and circumstance, to where I get to reap the benefits of, I get to go to all the skate events. I get invited to things. I get to skateboard every single day. I get skateboarding products for free. A lot of my friends are professional skateboarders. A lot of my friends are up and coming skateboarders, without having to necessarily pay my dues and to adhere to sponsors in the same way that other people do. So like, literally get my cake and eat it too kind of deal. More so than just about anyone I know. I mean, some of my friends that are professional skateboarders, I see the job side of it and I somehow get to sidestep it. And also fellow YouTubers, let's say, I see that the way that they have created their channel and their content, and a lot of it is sort of this, and this isn't talking shit. Like, it makes sense to do this. This is the best way to have a successful channel, but they will plan things and they will rely on things, whereas me posting every day and it just being this organic thing that comes out, I don't have to stress about it. So like today's video on Thanksgiving, that's going to have a sappy title that's not going to probably do well at all, doesn't matter, because I'm going to post another video tomorrow. And eventually this gravy train will end. I know that I'm looking at what's happening to some of the biggest YouTube channels that were there when I first started doing this, that were getting like hundreds of thousands of views every day. And now they're just like, they're just barely hanging on. They were much bigger than I've ever become. And even though my numbers have stayed very consistent, pretty much the majority of my channel, seeing something like that topple down, like, obviously my time's limited, so I'm just enjoying it while I have it. But I'm extremely thankful that I get this for as long as I get this, and whatever's next, who knows. But when I think about like me being sick and me dealing with the things like the issues in my family, my mom having a stroke 2 weeks ago, or my friend Victor passing, or the Lyme disease, or my like all the other things that have happened in the past like month and a half alone. If I would have dealt with this in the life that I was living before I got this extreme opportunity, which is most likely the way that most people in the world would have to deal with this, it's really hard to not be like, oh my God, like, even though I'm having a real bad stint of luck, how lucky am I that I get to have this block of it raining cats and dogs in a place that I have an umbrella. I look at some of my friends, one of my friends in particular, who's dealing with something, and they're also dealing with having a difficult job and things that are out of their control. Whereas like, I'm in this position where I'm sort of the master of my own time. And yes, I have to do videos. I don't really feel this extreme pressure to do stuff that I don't want to do. Every single video that I put out is literally what I want to do that day. That's why you'll have videos. It's me literally learning how to sit on a backside tail slide on a ledge. And yeah, I explain it and, do a little bit of tutorial stuff. But if you want to go watch a really long back tail, you could Google 1,000 video parts or watch a trick tip tutorial from a top pro explaining how to back tail. But I wanted to do back tails that day, and I'm like, well, I'll make a video out of it. And I get to do that, which is insane. It's insane that I get to have that pay my bills. So with that being said, I just have, it's Thanksgiving, but I just have this insane amount of gratitude, more so right now than I think I ever have had in my entire life. 2 years ago was probably the best year for my channel. It's when we went to New York City, and I just happened to post a lot of videos that did really well. I posted a video that got like 2.some million views, and this is the most money I've ever made, and it will probably be the most money that I'll ever make. And I think people have an idea of like how much money YouTubers make. Like, I'm okay, but I'm not like by any means like crushing it. Like, I'm not California middle class for sure, but I am much more comfortable than I ever expected to get to be able to be. I mean, me with a construction background and never even particularly being good at it, by the way. Like, when I did hardwood floors with my brother, or did road work or blacktop or flagging, like all of the random construction jobs, I take that back. I was a good iron pourer. They actually offered me a raise when I left that because I was really good at doing that job. It was just too dangerous though. This scar right here is literally because a piece of, when you pour it, like just like a droplet bounced off my hand and it left like a permanent, like it burned like a hole in my hand. One time a piece, a quarter the size of a grain of rice fell into someone's shoe and it like burned through their foot at the speed of gravity. That job was super gnarly. Super glad I don't have to do that. But I just kind of want to actually say how much I appreciate what I have, and it literally has to do with people, whether you enjoy just the skateboarding that I do, whether you feel a connection to me or the stuff I put out, or you just hate watch me and leave comments about how much you don't like me, or you're leaving the exact same comment about wearing wool socks, or being the first person to comment the skateboard emoji over and over and over again. And yes, I see that and I absolutely appreciate it. All comments I very much appreciate. It's pretty surreal to just, because I don't see you. I point my phone at me and I narrate my day, but I don't really think too much about what's going on the other side of the world. And it's always really surprising when you kind of think about how many people are really seeing it. And especially when I went to Tampa, if I go to any event and I'll have people come up to me and tell me how much they appreciate this thing that I did, or they just want to have a conversation about whatever. Sometimes this ban or the amount of information that I've been getting on Lyme disease from people is ridiculous. And I'm trying to reach back to as many of you as I possibly can. I've gotten some super good information. Not only stuff about like up and coming things that doctors have been trying, but their personal experience and what worked for them and their family members. And that's just been absolutely incredible. And I know this is kind of like a ramble fest of me being like, I sure am thankful for everything. And I hope it doesn't come off too showboaty, because I really, really mean it when I say I don't know anyone else's life who has it laid out in a way that is so exact to them doing the majority of what they want to be doing. Which in my case is very simple. I just want to be skateboarding. And I have been going to a couple plays lately. Went and saw Romeo and Juliet, and then we're going to go see The Nutcracker, and then Bridget just bought tickets to Wicked, and we're going to a puppet show. I don't know much about the puppet show, but it's the kind with the strings. I'm at a place in my life right now while I have it where I get to do these things and kind of have what's sort of been 2.5, 3 year summer vacation. But thanks to everyone who's watching this, you are enabling me to have one of the best lives I could possibly imagine for anybody. And I always especially feel that when the chips are kind of down for me, like right now being sick, being a little worried about how severe this disease that I have is going to be long-term, because I thought it was going to be a little bit better, and it's actually hitting me harder than I expected, and maybe a little bit harder than the doctor expected. But man, even if it ended tomorrow, what a ride. What a crazy ride. I'm down to go back to construction, but I don't think I'm down to go back to it on the East Coast in the freezing cold doing like road work. We were talking about hand warmers the other day when I was freezing cold, and Bridget asked me if I wanted some hand warmers, and it just made me think of like working the roads, having like hand warmers in every pocket and like in the cargo pants, and then having them like hidden in my hood and just like trying not to freeze to death. Do not miss that. Construction on the West Coast looks kind of cozy though. I've looked it up. It definitely pays a lot better out here, that's for sure. But yeah, I just wanted to say thanks to anyone who's ever supported me, to anyone who watches my videos, to anyone who's ever sent a super thanks. That goes an extremely long way. Any way that you've ever interacted with me or DM'd me or sent me some advice or asked me a question, and I'm sorry if I didn't get back to you. I'm still trying to do 5 DMs on Instagram a day, and I try to respond to the first usually like 25 minutes, 20 minutes of comments on YouTube videos. It's just a lot to keep up with. I promise I'm trying, including responding to emails, which is probably the one that I'm the worst at. And sometimes I'll receive comments about how I've, maybe watching my videos has been helpful in one way or another, or they just needed something to take their mind off of what they're doing. And since I post daily, that's helped a lot. I assure you, the favor has been tenfold returned from anyone that I've ever helped out, who's ever watched my videos, because I'm just skating. I'm not exactly giving the best advice either. I'm still figuring everything out. But yeah, I literally owe having the best situation possible to you who's watching this. So if you're spending Thanksgiving alone, I hope I just kept you a little bit of company. And this is going to be the most John Hill thing that I've ever done, because this is a very common quote, and it's nothing that's going to blow anyone's mind. But he used to always end his videos with a quote. Way back when he first started channeling, I first was like, "You're doing YouTube? What are you doing? You're throwing your career away. You're being so dumb." And now look at me. And I'm not even going to quote it directly, but the idea of remembering that you now have what you used to want. No matter where you are in life, there's probably a degree of that. I mean, when I think of like some of the most rock bottom that I've been, there were some things in my life that I'm like, wow, I had that. And if you don't have anything like that to be thankful for this Thanksgiving, be thankful that something else will come then, because once you're at the lowest point possible, anything else that happens is going to be better. It's always going to have something that's going to, I always say when you hit rock bottom, you finally have something to push off of to go up. And that's all I really want to say. I feel like I talked way longer than I expected to. Enjoy however you celebrate today.